Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. A huge warm welcome if you are new. Say hi in the comments below. It's actually been a while since I've commented on an intro. It's just always easier when you've done a DIY to just get it out. So here I am. Hope you've missed me. I've actually missed all of you a lot. So that's why I decided to come on today. But yeah, I'm really excited for today's DIY because it's something I've been wanting to make for the longest time on my channel. I've made this recently on Creative Fabrica, but I know not everyone follows me over there. So yeah, I've come out with this kind of a similar video, but for my channel, and I really hope you enjoy it. It's a really whimsical creation and it's basically like a book nook. I always get it mixed up, nook book, book nook. And also it could be like a diorama. It's also called a shelf insert. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So you're going to begin with a box. You can use a wooden box, but I'm going to be turning some trash into treasure, and I'm using this cat box here. We're going to give it obviously a really good makeover, so it's not going to look anything like this. So I'm starting with a glue stick and I'm going to be using some tissue paper to cover it. You can paint it if you like. I just really love that the tissue paper gives it a texture and it's going to make it look more like the outside of a book, which is great because it works well with this kind of concept that we're going with anyway. And I don't mind any wrinkles in here. Cut away at any excess. So I'm just covering all the sides of that side of the box. And we're going to neaten this up with some Mod Podge later. You don't need to do the bottom because no one's going to see, but I'm just doing it anyway. Alright, so once you've covered your bugs with the tissue paper, you can go and get some Mod Podge to go over it, because you can see like there's all of these areas. I did cut off like the excess, but you still need to neaten it up a little bit. So using the Mod Podge is just going to make the tissue paper melt into the box. So we're going just over the edges, you don't need to go over everything. Oh, and also over if you've had any little bits that you've stuck down, just glue those down as well. Once it's dry, you can go ahead and paint. Like I mentioned, you don't have to do the tissue paper, but it just gives it a really nice like texture and a vintage look to it. Makes it look more like a book. So I'm going to go with black as my main colour, and then I'm going to be dry brushing a little bit of this bronze colour onto it. I'm doing this with my sponge brush. So you can see the lovely texture and also the effect that the wrinkles in the tissue paper have given it. And if you want to add more texture, you can also dab it on like this. You can see the difference there in the two textures. This is smooth and the other one kind of gives it like a raised, a 3D sort of look to it. Now the reason I wanted to use a tissue paper is that the paint will go on a lot easier. It just has something to adhere to compared to the shiny surface of the box. And when you're doing this, if you have used tissue paper, be quite gentle because your paintbrush can just rip the tissue paper. I have done it before. So just being really, really gentle. And I think this is also one of the good reasons of using this technique, just dabbing it on. So I'm going to go ahead and carry on painting the entire box. My box is all dry from the black paint, so I'm going in with my bronze paint now. And this is going to be just really lightly getting rid of the excess and just making sure I've got a bit of bronze all over the sponge brush there. And then just dry brushing it. Just adding a bit more again. This is what I like to do, just to make sure that I don't have too much paint, otherwise it'll go really thick on your surface. And that's it, that's all done. We're going to let this dry and then we'll start working on the borders of the box and then the inside. So I'm taking my hot glue and I'm adding it to the borders of the box, one side at a time, because hot glue dries super quick. And then I'm taking some sticks I've collected and I'm just adding them on to the box. And you're just going to snap them to size if they're a little bit long for you. This one's a little bit tough to break with my hands, so I'm just using some pliers. If you find the same problem, you can just grab the tools. For the inside, you can decorate the walls how you like. You can paint it, you can print something off from the internet, a nice picture or scenery background onto some paper, onto some card. I've just got this on hand and I need to use it anyway, so I'm going to be choosing something from here. It's got lots of lovely, wonderful designs. So I'm going to go with this one here, and what you want to do is grab your box and you're going to grab your pencil and outline your box so you know how much to cut. So I've marked all my areas out and I'm just going to cut them. Now you're going to grab your glue, or you can use some double-sided tape, you can use any kind of glue you want. I'm going to be using the glue stick, and you're going to apply the glue inside the box so you can stick these in. So I'm going to begin with this side here at the back. Next you're going to grab a fairy doll. You can print one out, by the way, if you don't have one or you don't want to spend on one, but I have made it look as though there's some light inside. I've just stuck a little bit of felt, orange felt, and I've also decorated the top using some natural moss and some dried flowers just in the corner there. And then you're going to take your doll and you're going to hot glue that right at the back of your box like this. I'm also going to be taking this footpath and I'm going to place it inside the box right at the bottom here. So there's our footpath and our fairy doll. Looks like someone's home. I'm loving it so much. So to decorate the inside, I'm going to be using reindeer moss. You can see it's really thick compared to the natural moss that I collect. And I'm going to stick that down with my hot glue, just covering all the cardboard. And then the other side. And you can just incorporate lots of different things. So I've got this again just collected from foraging, and it's a little bit of like a branch or a stick with a little bit of moss growing on it. I'm going to stick that inside with my hot glue. I've also added some dried flowers. That was just a bouquet of baby's breath there, and I don't know what that's called, but it's some really beautiful small miniature flowers and they just dry perfectly. So yeah, just sticking this in. Here I've got a small pine cone. I'm just going to stick that inside. I've got this beautiful box of dried flowers that I ordered on eBay, and I love using them for projects. They come in so handy. So here's some really gorgeous blue ones. Sticking that right in the entrance. Now for the top, you can use fairy lights within this. Typically for book nooks you do use fairy lights inside, but I'm just going to use this because it's easier. I love how you can access the battery pack. So if you stick it in, you just twist this and it comes off, and then you can put the batteries in and out. Plus I really love how much light comes into the whole piece. It just really brings it to life and illuminates it. So that's why I'm going with this. So I'm just placing it in the center of my box at the top and sticking that down. I have added some double-sided tape to it. They are like sticky foam pads, and you can see now when I press it, like, look at how gorgeous that looks. I just feel like fairy lights aren't going to give it that much power. I got these fairies, altered fairies, off the internet for some other projects, so thankfully I've got her cut out from the previous project, and I'm going to stick her in using my hot glue just at the back there. If you want to, you can add toothpicks and stick them within the moss. I've dangled some of this wind chime that I had. I cut it with some pliers just to make sure it fits, and added it with my hot glue. And then I'm taking this die cut butterfly and I'm going to stick it down right here, and I think that will be the final thing. So what do you think of my whimsical creation? Let me know in the comments. You know I love to hear from you, and if you are new, please do consider subscribing. It really does help me out. I really hope you have enjoyed watching and that you leave feeling inspired. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.